Good afternoon. Happy Tuesday. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for the today webinar. I believe you have your good lunch and grab a tea, coffee with you for our session. This is a perfect time for coffee talk to showcase what is the webinar topic. We are very pleased to invite our guest speaker, Miss Laura. She is from Beyond Limits. She is the guru expert to present the topic to showcase how we enable our business with Sage ERP integrated intelligent AP automation. So she will be sharing the topic today. Let's move on the next slide, what we wanted to focus on today. Based on our registration data and among our Sage ERP user, you will see that these are the number of invoices that you are processing per month for a company. Now more than ever, there are more strategic business requirements landing on the finance professional. We see that a lot of AP team are spending more time in the area that you are running, which will be lesser to influence and inform decision across the business. Now we are trying to showcase and help the business by saying that significant of time that you're processing, you help you to reduce significantly in your workload by removing some of the redundant repetitive tasks that we want to showcase in this session. Let's move on to the next slide. The top next finding will be among the AP automation. These are the ones that flow back to share with us as a user what kind of challenges they are facing per day. Major implication for their quality of life. The heavy workload has negative impact the work-life balance for the AP and accounting team. Now you think of your manual, your validation, the amount of work and time that you spend on cross-check, the filing space among your hard disk, your network, as well as all your drivers among the users' backload, all this. We also see a high significant, tedious process workflow between among all different departments, between the finance, the operation, the purchasing, all the different departments. That is the reason why we know this is the way of lack of time. Your personal experience will also be in fact affected, especially if your company are processing a high volume for invoices, whether it's year-end, month-end, quarter-end. This is really impacted in the work-life balance for the team. We want to show you how we move forward with what we have for today. Now, the next slide that we see here. These are the capabilities of Sage ERP. As your business grows, your needs will be changing as well. This means that your current ERP will also need to keep up. Please note that whatever ERP system that you're using is only a backbone. With Sage 300 is uniquely positioning to help your business grow and confidently add only the modules that you need. If you don't need that much of module, you can just focus on what you need. As your business grows, you will just add on the module as it goes. Now let's see the next slide we have. These are the today focus solutions that we are going to bring on the table to share with our audience. It's AP automation and document management that to give you the benefit and what kind of business challenges will be resolved if you are going to consider for this solution. I'm going to pass the airtime to Laura, who will bring us the sharing for today.
Thank you, Lynn, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. So as Lynn indicated, many organizations today are running into many challenges, such as too much data entry, or that the timely approval and the ability to track and know where your documents or your invoice at in the approval process. Or did the CFO approve that invoice or not? We don't know, right? So also is a lot of manual tasks of having to print, copy, manually filing documents away, looking for documents, and searching for documents. It's too time consuming, and that is if you can find the documents, because many of you have multiple offices throughout the city, throughout the country, throughout the world. We also have a lot of people that are, we're in a hybrid workforce now because of the pandemic, and this is our new norm. And so staff are, we're traveling on the road, we're working at home, and we need to able to have access to the documents and information and keep your business running. In addition to that, there's also, security concern, because most company, they want to centralize the storage of all their documents in one place, in one central repository, but yet have the ability to have control the security of who can have access to which document, what can they see, and what can they do in the system. And then also audit trail, okay, especially for those of you who are public companies, to go in and know, who touched the document, who approved the document, who deleted the documents. There's many other concerns as well, like example, disaster preparedness, right? So some of us, we live in fire zone or hurricane zone or, monsoon zone. So if your documents are destroyed, it's gone. How can we reproduce that? This is one of the many reasons why that you want to get into what we call digital transformation. So today, DocLink and Sage, we're going to introduce you tools and technology to help you revolutionize the world of your business, to transform your business from a paper to a paperless environment, and to help you with workflow automation to streamline your business process using artificial intelligence technology. So why do we want to do that, and how we're going to do that? The idea is we want to have your data available electronically so that we can, using technology, connect the people that need to process the documents and to enforce your business policy and to have it, have it accessible and deliver on time to your customer, to your suppliers, and to your staff. It's the ability to connect, all those process to your documents. So what is DocLink? Think of DocLink as electronic file cabinet where all your documents going to live in, okay? And we can store files in any format, from Word file to Excel file to PowerPoint to video, audio file. It does not matter, okay? DocLink, today we're going to focus on AP automation. But the benefit of having DocLink is it is an enterprise solution. I can promise you that once you start to go paperless and automate in one area like AP, other departments going to see how efficient you are, how fast you're able to access your information, that they are going to want to go paperless as well. So the benefits with DocLink is once you have it, you can expand it to other department within your organization, and able to use it company-wide. Okay, so there are many document management solutions out there, many AP automation solutions out there. What set DocLink apart from other product? One, DocLink, we have artificial intelligent OCR technology, okay, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. Also, that we have ways to do automated two-way or three-way matching of your invoice against your purchase order and against your receiving. Okay, that's it. Additionally, is we have configurable workflow. Some of you may have very comprehensive workflow process based on business rules. Maybe based on dollar amount, it has to go to certain people for approval, or based on GL code, or based on supplier or location. Whatever your business rules are, we can create a workflow template to automate the approval of your document. Thirdly is DocLink, we have out-the-box integration with your Sage 300 and Sage X3. So we've been an integrated partners of Sage for about 24 years now in North America, Europe, and Australia. It just recently, in the last year or so, we've expanded to Asia because there has been huge demand for our solution because of the pandemic, because clients like you have a need to go paperless and automate, and access to your data. So with our integration with Sage, when Sage come out with a new release, or when DocLink come out with a new release, the two company works together. We do our testing to make sure everything is compatible. So when you upgrade your Sage or when you upgrade DocLink, you're not going to run into incompatibility issues, and the integration is intact. That's the key. Many product out there, unless they are an endorsed Sage partner, okay, it is not integrated at the code level. So what does that mean? It means that when you upgrade your Sage or when you upgrade the other AP solution, the integration gets broken. So you as a customer will need to pay to redo that integration. So be mindful of that. Additionally, is we have one of the fastest search speed engine in the industry. Okay, I'm going to show you in a little bit of our searching, but the key is we have what we call full text searching, kind of like Google search. Okay, and we have customers that have like over 14 million documents in the system, and they can still access their document instantly in seconds. Also is that DocLink, as I mentioned earlier, it is more than just an AP automation solution, because yes, there are AP solution out there, but that's all they can do. Where with DocLink, once you own it, you can now expand it for expense management, contract management, AR automation, HR onboarding. The list goes on of what DocLink can help your organization with. Okay. Because DocLink is an integrated enterprise solution, we have tools, the SDK tool, URI tool, giving you the ability to integrate DocLink with your other in-house software application. So in other words, DocLink is not only integrated with Sage 300 or X3, but it can be integrated with your other in-house application as well. Okay. So the idea is with DocLink, it's a database. It's an SQL database that lives outside of Sage. Okay, and it could be on your server on-prem. It could be on a private hosted cloud. We also have DocLink Cloud as well. It's your choice where you want your data to live. Okay, but DocLink, like I said, is think of it as electronic file cabinets where all your documents going to live in. Again, it's not just for accounting documents only. You can store any document from contract to HR document to expense receipt to engineering drawing. It does not matter. We offer different methods of how we capture documents and storing into the system, because you have documents coming from the outside, from your suppliers and customer. You have document that's generated in-house within your company, but yet you want all those documents to be stored into DocLink. So how are we going to get those documents into DocLink? Scanning is one, if you have it hard copy. I'm going to talk about OCR for you as well, but there's also email import to, print capture, barcode method, mobile app capturing. The list goes on of different methods of how you can capture documents into DocLink. So just remember, it's not just the scanning of your documents only. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, it's not just for your piece of paper in your file cabinets only. If you have anything that's on network drive, SharePoint, OneDrive, your desktop, really anywhere, you can store all those documents into DocLink. Okay. Some of you may say, you know what? I just need a solution for storage and retrieval of my documents. That's it. That's all I need, because I have staff working at home, they're on the road, they need to access these invoices, for example. That's DocLink standalone system, storage and retrieval. That's it, okay? But then you say, okay, well, my supplier invoices are coming in. I want to route it around for review and approval. Well, that's our workflow components, and I'm going to introduce that to you as well, okay? And then again is our integration with Sage. So with DocLink, we are continuously pushing data to Sage. We're pulling data from Sage as well, okay? Because you have a lot of your suppliers and vendor customer information and data in Sage. We want to repurpose that data because we want to reduce data entry and data entry error. But at the end of the day, and then there's also the automated delivery tool. Now in AP, it's not often needed, but if for purchase order, AR invoice and all that, a way to automatically send out to your suppliers and customer, we have that tool available. But at the end of the day, is accessing of your documents, okay? Is that you can access document in DocLink through the DocLink web, DocLink mobile app, and of course in our smart client as well, which I will demonstrate for you, okay? But for your accounting folks, because you live and breathe, you're in Sage all the time, we want to make it easy for you. So as part of the integration, you will be able to access all the document directly in Sage as well, okay? All right, now DocLink, think document is the information on the document. It could be anything, because at the end of the day, a document is a document is a document. The information on the document is different, but it's still a document. Okay, so it could be used in any industry, in any department. Now, what you see on the screen here, this is more of the popular industry that have huge demand for our solution because during this pandemic time, from distribution to pharmaceutical to healthcare, manufacturing, financial industry, government, all these industries have huge volume of documents that they need to process and access. Okay? But again, it could be in any industry. So let's take a look. Let's see how it works. So I mentioned earlier, we have OCR technology, artificial intelligence OCR technology available. So the idea is we can monitor your email. So get your supplier to email the invoices to you, okay? Because we have the ability to monitor your email. Anytime invoice are being emailed to you, our system will grab it from email and bring it into DocLink, your file cabinet. It can also monitor folder as well, because some of you may have multiple locations. So IT may set up a folder in the network for each location. So we monitor those folder. Anytime invoice or document stored into that folder, our system grabs it and store it into DocLink, the file cabinet. Okay, so email and folder document import. Now OCR takes over. Now OCR, if you're not familiar with it, stands for optical character recognition. OCR, the purpose of OCR is it reads the data on your document and bring it into the system, because we're going to push all this invoice data over to Sage later on, so that accounting, you don't have to waste your time doing the data entry. Okay, so now there are many OCR solutions out there. And what's unique about our well, let me go back. Most OCR solution out there for you to use, you have to create a template. You have to draw the zone, okay? Tell it the zone, draw the box, the zone where you want the system to read the data, okay? And so the problem is when you scan a document in, most of the time it's a little crooked, a little skewed. So what does that mean? It means that the zone that you just draw is out of place. So OCR is not going to be able to read that data accurately. Or what if you scanned it upside down or sideways? The system can't read it. But with our OCR, because being that is artificial intelligence technology, one, there is no template that needs to be created. Okay, our OCR will go in and read all the data on the document, everything. And then you see here where it said invoice number, okay, or let's say bill to, or let's say ship to, or a date and total and so on. Those are what we call labels, okay, or technical people call it tag. Okay, so in our system, our OCR, what it does is it's going to go and look for those labels. Now, some suppliers may have INV in the pound sign, invoice number completely spelled out. So it has different labels, right? So with our OCR, because it's designed originally for accounting news, we can recognize those standard labels already. Okay, so there is no template that needs to be created. And so when we implement the OCR for you, we just ask you give a sample of your invoices, and we just throw it into OCR and let it read, read by itself. Okay, you don't have to create any template. Now, the question we get is, well, what if the supplier moved the invoice number from the right corner to the left corner? It's okay. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to tell the system, because our OCR will read everything and then look for those labels. See, invoice number. So if it's been moved to the right, that's okay. It will find it. And then once it recognizes it, it will read the data behind it or below it and bring it over to the system. Okay, or OCR can read down to the line item as well. Okay, so for PO invoices, it's going to read the SKU, description, quantity, dollar amount, and it's going to bring it into the system. Okay. Now, also is what's unique about our OCR is it can read up to 30 different languages. So the last release, it can now read Chinese in simplified and traditional, Vietnamese, Korean, and Japanese. I believe that Thai and Bahasa is on the list for the next release. We're continuously adding new languages depending on the demand of the customer. Okay, but right now up to 30 different languages. In addition to that is this example here I'm showing you is our OCR reading invoice, right? But our OCR can read other types of document as well, as long as it's a form, like example to a customer PO, packing slips, or some of you call it DO, contracts, job application. It's just any kind of form, as long as it's typed text, we can read it and bring it into the system. Okay, because later on we're going to push all this data over to Sage. Now, some of you are sitting there wondering, well, what about handwriting? Well, handwriting is ICR. Okay, and yes, we have ICR available, but I'm going to be honest with you, because between DocLink and Sage, we want happy customer. And as you know, the technology for ICR is not quite there. Okay, if our human eye have a problem reading the handwriting, how can a computer read handwriting, right? So the rule of thumb is garbage in, garbage out. That's all I have to say. Okay. So that's a little bit about our OCR. The idea of OCR is to reduce data entry. OCR reads the data, bring it into the system, then we're going to push it over to Sage. So AP, you don't have to input all those data. Now, some of your question might be, well, when we get the supplier invoice, the item number, the SKU is from the supplier doesn't match what's on the PO or what's in Sage. No worries. What we can do is we can create translation tables. For example, this supplier here, is that this is their SKU is raw 500, right? But in Sage, it might be ABC 123. We can create a translation table that when we receive an invoice from this supplier with this SKU number, that it actually equals to an ABC 123 in Sage. Okay, so we can recreate translation table. Also is we can monitor for duplicate invoices as well. Okay, and we can, when the system reads the supplier name, we actually can validate against Sage. Does that supplier exist yet in Sage? Because if it does not, or if it's a duplicate invoice, or if the quantity or dollar amount didn't match, it flags it and it put those invoice into an exception folder. Okay, and then then the system notify AP. Okay. In addition to that is we can also, I know there's a lot of frauds going on, right? So some supply, fraud where they send you fraud invoices with account number that you need to pay to. We can actually read that and validate it against Sage to ensure that, that's the right account number, bank account number that's tied to that vendor. Okay. So that's a little bit about OCR. It reads it, it validates it. If it's all good, we're going to push all this data over to Sage. Now, so what's next is I am going to talk about is the automated matching. So you have supplier invoices coming in that's tied to a purchase order. Okay. So OCR read the data on your invoice already. With our integration with Sage, we're going to do DocLink is going to do automated matching of your line by line of these items here against the open purchase order in Sage and against the receiving in Sage in real time. What's still open, what's been received. If there's any discrepancies, then we throw those invoices into an exception bucket. So here's the flow. OCR reads your invoice. DocLink does the matching against your purchase order and against your receiving. If there's no exception, then it will push the invoice data over to Sage. If there's any exceptions, it will put those invoices into an exception status, and then workflow will notify AP. Here's the list of invoice that has exception. And it even tells them what the exceptions are. So imagine if this is a 10-page invoice, and instead of you sitting there reading through line by line to figure out what's wrong, the system is going to tell you what's wrong. In addition to that is that you now have visibility to all those documents on the same screen. So you have the invoice, you have the receipts, repacking slip, you have the purchase order. So you can do your research and figure out what's wrong and fix those problems. Okay. So that's the two unique feature is artificial intelligence OCR. And now I just introduced you a way how we can do automated matching of the supplier invoice against your purchase order and against receiving. It's a huge time saving for your AP staff. Okay. Now, if there's any invoice that needs to be routed around for review or action to take upon or approval, okay, we have the workflow components available. Now, with our DocLink workflow, we have two options, okay, where you can initiate the workflow. One way is what we call manual workflow, where invoice comes in, AP, you're looking at it and you say, oh, this invoice, I got to send it to the CFO for approval. So you select the approver, the name of the person you want to route it to from a drop-down list. That's what we call manual workflow, okay? But we also have automated workflow where if you have rules, well, any invoice above $5,000 has to go to the controller for approval. Anything above $10,000 got to go to the controller and then the CFO, or maybe based on GL code or dollar, whatever your rules are. We can create a workflow template and it routes it automatically. It's done in the back end, so that I can't show you automated workflow because it's just done automatically, okay? So that's two ways how you can initiate workflow, and the workflow is fully configurable. When we implement the system, when we scope out your project, we're going to sit down and talk to you and ask you, what is your process? What is your flow? What is your business rules? And then we create a workflow template based on your business process. Okay? All right. So now workflow gets initiated. How does the CFO know that there's an invoice waiting for his or her approval? One of the most popular method is email approval. So in other words, you could be anywhere around the world. as long as you can have access to your email from your iPhone, from your cell phone, your iPad, laptop, it doesn't matter. As long as you have access to your email. Notice in the email, we actually include the documents in that email. So you can open it up, look at it, and directly from email, there will be a button that says approve or reject. So you can approve or reject by clicking on one of those buttons directly from your email. And you can even add notes too of why it was approved or why it's denied. And ladies and gentlemen, this is all logged in the DocLink workflow audit log. Okay. Now this is one of the popular methods. We have other methods as well, of course. You can approve on the DocLink mobile app, okay, or on the web, DocLink web as well, because we want to give you flexibility. We want you to have access to documents and visibility from any devices at any time. That's the idea, because we don't want to bottleneck. We don't want to cause delay. We want you to able to keep your business running, moving efficiently. Also, as part of our workflow, we have escalations and delegations. Another word, we know Lynn, she's always slow in approving things. So we want to set up in rules where let's give Lynn 24 hours to approve the invoice. If it's past due, we want the system to send her a friendly reminder. If it's past due again, we want the system to escalate to her manager. Okay, manager love these features. And then also delegation. Maybe, I know I'm going to be on vacation for the next 2 weeks. I don't want, things to bottleneck and cause delay. I can delegate my approval authority to another staff during the time period that I'm out. Now, the key is, once you own our workflow, this example, I talk about supplier invoice. But once you own this tool, you can use it for the routing and approval of any documents. So think about approval of purchase requisition or purchase orders, or about orders coming in that needs to be routed around for fulfillment, or maybe contract that needs to go through for approval and edits, or maybe approval of timesheet, vacation request, hiring of a new staff, any document that needs approval, you can use the DocLink workflow for. Okay. Once the invoices are all good to go, remember, this is still, all the invoices still in DocLink at this time. But once everything is good, by a simple click, or we can do an automated batch import of the invoice data over to Sage. So now I'm going to talk about the integration with Sage. Okay, so once again, by a simple click, or we can set it up for automated import either hourly, during lunchtime, at the end of the day or the week. It's your choice how often you want the system to batch import the invoice data over to Sage. But what it does is it just flow over to Sage. So all these invoice data here came from DocLink. So accounting staff, you don't have to manually input these data anymore. Okay, it's reducing your data entry. Okay, and at any time in Sage, you want to view documents associated with this particular transaction, there is a view document button that you can click on and will bring up all the documents associated. Now, we are integrated with many screens in Sage 300 and X3. Okay, this is just an example, one of the screen. And here is example of Sage X3. Again, we push the data over to Sage. Anytime you want to view document, you just want to click on that view document there, and the system will then open up DocLink and bring up all the documents associated with that transaction. Notice that it brings up the invoice, the associated purchase order, and the packing slip. Normally, in most traditional system, if you want to see the purchase order, you have to switch over to the purchase order screen. If you want to see the packing slip, you got to switch over to the receiving screen, right? But with DocLink, and any of the screens that we have integration with, once you click on the View Document button, it will bring up all the documents associated. And I'm accounting. I'm looking at this invoice. And I say, you know what? I wonder if this invoice was approved by the CFO yet. Well, look on to the right. You also have access to the workflow history. And here it said the CFO approved it on this day and time. Also, you have access to the full audit trail history. Who viewed it, who approved it, who deleted, who modified it. It's all there. Okay. So then now, so before you post, let's say that you're working in the screen here and you realize, you know what, that's the wrong code, GL code, or that's the wrong dollar amount, whatever it is wrong. If you haven't not posted it yet, you can make the correction in Sage like you normally do. As part of an integration with Sage, Sage will update DocLink with the corrected information in the back end of the database. So you have the correct information in both places, okay? Because it's two-way syncing, okay? And once you post and you process the payment, okay, we have a feature called print capture, where if you have any document that you generate in Sage or in any software, if you have the ability to print in PDF, our system has the ability to automatically capture an electronic copy of that document along with all the data about that document. Okay, so for example, if this payment was meant to pay 2 invoices, we're going to store this payment into DocLink one time, but we're going to link this one payment to the associated invoices. Okay, so anytime, Lynn, I sent you an invoice 2 months ago. What's going on? I haven't gotten paid yet. Lynn doesn't have to call accounting. Lynn can just go into DocLink, type in an invoice number. If it's been paid, she will see the payment amount, payment date, payment number. And if she has security permission, she will see a copy of that payment. And if she has further permission, she can email out a copy of the payment as proof that it's been paid. And remember, this is all security based. Okay. So I just show you different methods of how you can capture documents into DocLink, from emailing, someone email it to you, we can just grab it and store into DocLink. OCR can read the data, and then of course is document, that created in-house with, your company, we can capture it electronically. Okay. So here's an example, JJ Restaurant. They pretty much they manage, small restaurant. They do the accounting. They do all the accounting for a whole bunch of small restaurants. And so, of course, they have hundreds and hundreds of clients. So they process about 50 to 60,000 invoices for all these restaurants per year. So the restaurant is their customer, right? So the customer actually go into DocLink web portal, upload the invoices, the supply invoice. It goes into DocLink. Then OCR grab the invoice. When they upload, OCR will read it. Then our system will do the matching of the invoice against the purchase order and against the receiving. And then from there, the workflow routed to accounting, and then they go through their payment process. So, for HA Restaurant, there's no more of couriering, invoices from one restaurant over to, to their accounting department. Tracking of the invoice coming in is easy and fast. And of course, they don't have to do manual matching of their invoice, and they don't have to do manual data entry as well. So let me show you at the end of the day, I show you how invoice gets in, how we can do matching, how we can push data over to Sage. But let's see how we can access those documents. So here I'm going to show you different way of accessing documents. Here's an example of DocLink Web. Okay. And the traditional searching is for accounting especially, and I just say, show me all the invoices that's tied to GL code 6175, right? I can search by any of these data elements here, PO number, so on. But I want to find me all the invoices that's tied to GL code 6175. Okay, I can filter it down by year as well. So I'm just going to click on search, and the system found 40 documents tied to GL code 6175. Okay, so maybe here, from here, I have a search result. I can even sort that result. I can export this result. I can export it to Excel or CSV format for reporting purpose. I can export all the document as well. Okay, but while I'm here, I'm gonna say, you know what? I want to see all the document that's tied to this supplier here, a travel company. Okay, so I can just click on that. Here we can go what we call search drill down. Now the system found 87 documents that's tied to this particular supplier. This is what we call property field index field search. Let's do another example. Show me all the invoices that's over that's into over $5,000, for example. I click on, I can see here. I put the dollar amount, invoice total, anything that's over $5,000, and I click on search, and the system found 99 invoices that's over $5,000. And again, I can sort it, I can export it. Here I say, you know what, show me all the document that's tied to this invoice here. And here we have, all the invoices and the check as well. And if I want to see them all, I can just select them all and click open. Okay, so now there's the check, right? So I have all those invoices and the check. I can put it in a thumbnail format or cascade format, however format I wish. But while I'm here, I want to show you of our strength, which is full text searching. It's a unique feature that most solution out there does not have. Okay, and this feature is typically needed when you expand DocLink to other departments, because once again, the benefit of having DocLink is that you started in AP, but now you can expand DocLink to other departments like contract, legal department, HR department, sales, marketing, shipping, quality assurance department, customer service. The list goes on. So full text searching. I'm looking for a contract, and I remember the contract has the word Laura in Vietnam. That's all I can remember. I don't remember which contract. I don't remember, what it's called, where it's stored. So, but I want to find only the contract. I don't care about the grant or any other document. I just want to see the contract. I'm helping the system filter down the search. Okay. So now I type in the keyword or words that I'm searching for. So let's say Laura in Vietnam. I click on search. The system now found one document meeting that search criteria. And here, the document, inside the document, it has the word Vietnam and Laura, as you can see. So that is full text searching. Very, very powerful. Okay. So now I show you an example of our web, right? Of a web. Some of you, like me, I'm on the road all the time, and I like to, search by what we call the client. In other words, the software loaded on my PC. So here is an example. If you want, you don't have to use the web. You can use the client version where you log into the software that's on your desktop. Now, this is our live DocLink system at my company, and I'm logging in as me. In our live system, we also have HR documents and supplier invoices as well, but you don't see it here because I do not have permission to have access to see those documents. These are the only documents that I can access. Okay, and I can only search and I can only do my expense report. Those are the only thing I can do in the system. Okay, so here, for example, I'm going to do another search. Find me all the contract that is tied to customer name. I just remember it has AAA. I don't remember the complete company name. Okay, so I click on search. Here, the system found 17 documents with a customer name with AAA. So in other words, you can do partial search. You don't have to type in the complete name. Of course, I can sort it. Okay. And while I'm looking here, you know what? Show me all the documents that's tied to, let's see here, AAA Oklahoma. Okay. Sorry here. My mouse is acting up. Or actually, while here, show me all the documents that's tied to Tony. Here, the system found 519 documents that's tied to the rep Tony. You see how fast it is? I have been doing document management for about 20 years now, and I can tell you, I have seen system where you can conduct a search before you go to lunch, and when you come back from lunch, it's still searching, okay? And so kind of defeat the purpose. For DocLink, we have one of the fastest search speed engine in the industry. It doesn't matter how large your database is or how many documents you store into the system, as long as you meet our minimum specs requirement. Now, of course, if you're searching on the internet, it's based on your internet speed, because if you're working from home on a landline, modem line that's slow, there's nothing I can do there, right? But right now I'm sitting at a hotel, in Sydney, and the internet is okay, but you can see how fast it is, right? So that's one example. So let me go back here and let me do another search. So that's example field search, property field search, right? So here, full text search. Find, and it happens all the time. Lynn will call me up saying, Laura, do we have any customer using Sage 300 for AP automation? Well, I'm not going to remember which one. I deal with thousands of customers, right? So I go into my DocLink system. I tell the system, find for me contracts. Anytime we have customer using Sage 300 for AP, see, just typing in the keyword that you're searching, that you're looking for, and click on search. And the system found 21 documents that that has and I misspelled Sage, as you can see. That's why. Let me go back. See, somebody, when they type this up, they misspell Sage as well. So that's why I only found 21, right? So let me just clear my search. So Sage 300 AP. There we go. The system found 505 contracts that has these words that I'm looking for. Okay, so I can just click on it, open it up. It's trying to open up here on the bottom screen. Bear with me. This is actually going to our DocLink cloud server that's in North America right now. And I am sitting in Sydney, Australia, but as you can see how fast it is. So now sorry, it's a lot of screen right now. There we go. So this is an old document, right? Sage 300 AP, and so on and so on. So that is an example of full text searching. So think about your company document that you have in your file cabinets right now. Would this full text searching be helpful? Okay. Would the OCR will be helpful for you to reduce data entry? Would the workflow will be helpful to expedite and approve the invoice on time? And like I said, and the integration with Sage and able to access all those documents in Sage would be helpful. One more thing here, like I said, as I mentioned to you, I use DocLink, for my expense report. So here I can go in, show me all expense report for Laura. I click on search for this year. Here's my expense report. And here it says, show me all the documents that's tied to this expense report right here. And here is all my expense report with all my receipt attached. I'm just going to open up a few just to show you that you can view multiple documents at the same time. You don't have to have multiple window open. Okay. So now it's trying to open up all those, the receipt, the expense, because DocLink, we have the ability to create electronic forms, any kind of forms. So some of our customers use our system to create purchase requisition forms, going through an approval process using our workflow. Then we push all the requisition data over to Sage to auto create purchase order. I'm sharing you another use case of DocLink. Okay, so here's my expense report, all the receipt, and then here shows me that my manager Kevin approved this expense report on this time and date. Okay, all right. So I just show you an example of searching in our system. So let's just continue and conclude our presentation here. The key is, the end of the day, is accessing your document, searching visibility to your document. As you can see, we offer different methods, searching in DocLink and accessing also in Sage as well. Okay, and so here's another example of a Sage client, Econo Supermarket. They are the largest supermarket chain in Puerto Rico. Okay, and they started DocLink for AP automation. But after they understand how DocLink works and our security, that it's very tight and very granular, that we can control who can have access to which document, what can they see, and what can they do in the system. The supermarket chain also used DocLink to process their HR and store all their HR files, and use DocLink as a resume bank as well. But so in Puerto Rico, they have regular hurricane every year. And one year, El Niños hit their island, and there was major destruction to the island, to the supermarket. They lost millions of dollars. But this supermarket here had zero data loss in their AP and HR, because all their document was stored in DocLink. And so we were able to restore all their data from backup. Where other department within their company, all the documents were gone because they didn't have time to store those in DocLink yet. Just to show you, different reason why organization use DocLink, either for disaster preparedness, for security of document, to streamline and automate their process, and so forth. So why DocLink? One, DocLink has been out since 1984. We have always, like I said, we have thousands and thousands of clients worldwide. It's a solid, proven system used by thousands of clients. Okay, we're not new in the market, and we will remain in the market for many years. So you can rest assured that the product will be around for a long time. And also we're integrated partners with Sage. Now Sage, like I said, we've been a partner of Sage for many years, and Sage, they're very particular. They want a product that works well and also provide good customer service, because there's no point of having good product, but yet, but the support is not there. So we offer 24/7 support. We have support team all over the world. We have support team in Manila, to Hong Kong, to Australia, to US, everywhere. Okay, so we're one of the very few companies that offer 24/7 support. And also between our Sage partners, Sage and DocLink, the three company works together for a successful implementation of your system. So the implementation is can be very, very fast. Okay. So the end of the day, folks, is today we gave you an example of AP automation. Okay. But just know that with one system, now you can expand it to area within your business, to your sales order processing, to AR automation is very, very popular for X3, Sage X3 client, and 300 as well. Contract management is also very popular because we have version control, check in, check out for document collaboration. We have integration with electronic signature, and also because we have the full text searching capability. We also have the ability to send you auto alert to let you know when contracts going to expires or when the retention period is up. HR is another popular area as well because of security to documents, because we can create, any kind of form, HR forms. You can use DocLink as your resume bank. And then also is expense management is also very popular. Again, these are just a few popular areas that most of our clients start using DocLink in along with AP automation. Okay. Here's a few of our example customers, as I mentioned, in any industry. So, from pharmaceutical to food to, catch up the day is like Amazon in Australia. ProSafe is oil and rig industry in Singapore and in Zurich area. From water chemical to government, the Public and National Committee in the U.S. That's actually one of my customers. So any industry and sport as well. Okay. So at this time, I'm going to pass it back to Lynn. We're going to pause for any questions.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks for wonderful sharing. I'm going to read out some of the challenges and questions that the floor have raised here. There's one customer with having 1 to 49 invoices per month. They are facing this kind of challenge. Their current AP handling remain done is manually by receiving the manual invoices from the supplier. Then the team have to update into the accounting system, filing in unpaid supplier invoice file, the SharePoint, and then attach to payment voucher when processing the payment, and then filing in the paid supplier invoice file. So this setting, you will see that they have a lot of different folders here. Now the challenge will be arise when talking about staff working from home because they are not in the office. So how is the DocLink document storage and document traceability is also another issue in the long run. So is your solution, DocLink, able to resolve this challenge?
Well, all the challenge that you just described, definitely yes. The access of document from home is, as you can see, documents are stored in DocLink. So as long as they can have access to the internet, or if they have DocLink app on their mobile device, or if they can VPN then they can have the DocLink software loaded on their PC and access the documents and even approve documents and code the document as well. So all those different methods are available because their documents will be in the DocLink database that could be on the server, on their network, or on the cloud. So yes, accessibility to document from home can be done. I'm sitting in Sydney right now, but my document is in my office, in California, right? And I just able to access all those client files.
So it can be resolved with the solution here. The second question is the workforce need to be increased when they're thinking so much scanning is needed?
So as the best practice, one, get your suppliers, or anytime anyone give you documents, tell them to give it to you electronically or email it to you, because then you don't have to scan. It saves a lot of time. Okay. And two is all documents have some kind of retention schedule. So if you have a whole bunch of documents in your file cabinet, think about it. Do you really want to store them into DocLink? Maybe they are 20, 30 years old. So maybe it's time not to store them into the system. But if you do want to store them into the system, don't start scanning stuff from 10 years or 20 years ago. Start scanning document from yesterday and the day before and the day before that, because those are the one you want to you would access more. In addition to that, there are company out there called they call it scanning service bureau. So if you don't have the staff, there are service bureaus that can do the scanning for you. A lot of our partners, Sage partners, have scanning services as well. But also is when you scan, you have those big printers, scanner, those multifunction device. They scan really fast. So versus those desktop scanners that scan 2 pages per minute, right? Where the multifunction device can scan 50 pages, or 100 pages per
Wow.
minute. Yeah, so depending on your scanning speed as well.
The same question coming from this audience from the early part is that the second question from her, any time frame for the DocLink to store the document or not?
I'm sorry, state that again, Lynn, the question.
Is there any time frame for the document link to store the document? That means if I scan the document within 1 year, 2 year, will it expire or not?
So no, you can store documents in DocLink as long as you want. If DocLink is going to be installed on your server, you just need to have enough hard drive space to store all the document, and you can keep them in there forever if you want. Okay. Now, if it's on, like I said, if you have a company for private hosted cloud, yes, you can keep the documents in there forever, but then your server space is going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger, right? If it's on DocLink Cloud, again, we don't care how long you want to store documents in the system. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Next question is that for the construction company is the Sage 300 user, we need to charge the cost. We need to charge for different project and category codes. Now, how we are going to work for this with DocLink?
So Sage 300, we are compatible with intercompanies and multi-currency. So in one invoice, you can charge, you can code it to different job, different project number, or job costing, right? So yes, yes, you can code it to different job costs.
That's good. Let's move to the next question here. What are the attachments for AP payment verification here?
What is the attachment for AP payment verification? So if you're talking about for fraud detection, if that's what you're referring to, is yes, if our invoice, our OCR can read the payment, the account information on the invoice, we can validate it against Sage if that information is obviously is in Sage as well, for verification. DocLink, we're not a payment solution if that's what you're referring to, but we can validate. Yes.
The next question quite similar. What is the assurance of the fully proving the data security? Any encryption or decryption technology will be applied here or not?
So yes, we do have encryption, and I apologize, I'm not technical enough to give you all the detail on that. But with our security, keep in mind our system is being used by pharma, by government, by healthcare industry, and they have done their due diligence of testing our security system. So to rest assured that and our system is being used a lot in HR department as well because of the security of our solution. When document is being stored on your server, on your network, the security accessing, if you're talking about people hacking your server, that's really up to your IT, right? How well they protect. But if it's on, of course, if it's on private cloud, that's up to your private cloud provider as well. When it's on DocLink Cloud, we do use Azure, right? And so, so that is protected by Microsoft Azure. So hopefully that answered your question.
Yes, the last question that we are going for today will be what are the approach for procurement to payment process automation for company more than 500 invoices? I think this is something that you have answered earlier on. The last point is that how DocLink can capture TDS component in invoices. Let's say if the reporting is in multi-currency here, how is this automation process help in the reporting?
So DocLink, we just read the data that's on your document. If the currency is in let's say Sing dollar versus pesos, we just read it as is. because the system accommodates for multi-currency. So did I answer your question there? I'm not sure.
Yes. There are more questions that be coming up from this session, but we are overrun with 10 minutes. Nevertheless, float your question to us. We will answer according offline to you. Should you need a demo session, we will be arranging that as well. But thank you, Laura, and thank you everyone for attending the today webinar. You will receive a webinar and presentation and recorded video, and we appreciate if you could tell us what are the top challenges that you want to know by arranging a demo so that we can provide a timely response as well the next step for you. The presentation slides and the recorded webinar will be attached to you shortly. Should you have any other question related with the session here, please stay in touch with us directly. And on behalf of Sage team and our presenter, Laura, thank you for joining us as today's webinar and wish you have a great rest of your day. Thanks, Laura. And
Thank
thanks
you,
all the
Lynn.
audience
Thank
on
you,
the blog.
everyone. Have a nice day.
Good day. Bye-bye.